Welcome to a new video. I just learned the principles of economics this semester, so now let me briefly introduce what I learned from elasticity. So basically I'll introduce elasticity from the following three parts. Part 1 definition and examples, Part 2 formulas, Part 3 classification. Well, let's go! Part 1 definition. In business and economics, elasticity refers to the degree to which individuals, consumers, or producers change their demand or the amount supplied in response to price or income. It is predominantly used to assess the change in consumer demand as a result of a change in a good or service's price. Here are some takeaways for you guys. Elasticity is an economic measure of how sensitive an economic factor is to another, for example, changes in price to supply or demand, or changes in demand to changes in income. If demand for a good or service is relatively static even when a price changes, demand is said to be inelastic, and its coefficient of elasticity is less than 1.0. Examples of elastic goods include clothing or electronics, while inelastic goods are items like food and prescription drugs. Part 2 How does it work? The formula for calculating elasticity is elasticity equals to % change in quantity divided by % change in price or income or price of related goods. Here's an example. Just like the price elasticity of demand equals to the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. A value that is less than 1.0 suggests that the demand is insensitive to price or inelastic. Inelastic means that when a price goes up, consumers' buying habits stay about the same, vice versa. If elasticity equals 0, then it is said to be perfectly inelastic, meaning its demand will remain unchanged at any price. There are probably no real-world examples of perfectly inelastic goods. For example, insulin is a product that is highly inelastic. For people with diabetes who need insulin, the demand is so great that price increases have very little effect on the quantity demanded. Price decreases also do not affect the quantity demanded. Most of those who need insulin aren't holding out for a lower price and are already making purchases. On the other side of the equation are highly elastic products. Bouncy balls, for example, are highly elastic in that they aren't a necessary good, and consumers will only decide to make a purchase if the price is low. Therefore, if the price of bouncy balls increases, the quantity demanded will greatly decrease, and if the price decreases, the quantity demanded will increase. Here comes the last part, the three types of elasticity. They are price elasticity, income elasticity, and price of related goods of elasticity. Price elasticity measures the responsiveness of the quantity demanded or supplied of a good to a change in its price. Demand is for consumers, and supply is for producers. Next is the income elasticity of demand and supply. In economics, the income elasticity of demand is the responsivenesses of the quantity demanded for a good to a change in consumer income. As we learned previously, inferior goods have an inverse relationship between income and demand, which results in a negative income elasticity of demand. On the other hand, normal goods have a positive relationship between income and demand, which is reflected in a positive income elasticity of demand. We determine whether goods are complements or substitutes based on cross-price elasticity. If the cross-price elasticity is positive, the goods are substitutes, and if the cross-price elasticity are negative, the goods are complements. Here are some examples of goods with a price inelastic demand: beef, gasoline, salt, textbooks, prescription drugs. And for inelastic goods such as cars, luxuries, house, etc. In short, the change in elasticity reflects human nature. Generally speaking, the higher the price of goods, the less consumers want to buy, and the more businesses want to sell. In summary, through this animation, we briefly reviewed the basic concepts of flexibility in economics combined with some small examples to help you understand clearly. That's pretty much about it. Thank you for watching and I wish you guys good results in the final exam. Bye.